Alright, let me send out the noties real quick, and then we'll get right into it. I hate this new mobile update for Twitch. It's gonna irritate me. You just say haboom? What the fuck? I had a streamer. Ah! Click the wrong. When you click the wrong thing, bro, it's just be. I forgot to include the link. Fuck. Go to show you how my day's going, MJ. My day is going just peachy. Delete that. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Alright. We should be all good now. Alright, that's popping up. Alright. I'm actually going to turn this light off behind me because... I don't know. I don't know if I should leave it on or keep it. I'm going to turn it off. Let me know.
Alright.
That's because I want to grab my water.
Oh shit, that shit is pitch black.
Yeah, so should I turn the light back on?
Yeah, cause we can barely see your face.
Alright, bet dog! Hang on, what if I turn on the main light? Alright. No, I'm not doing that because of the glare in the background. Look, bro, everything's gotta be peaked. Oh, this is unedited too, bro. Fuck!
You just cut out the first little part.
Yeah, that's true. So, alright. Do you want me to share my... Because I can share the screen with you through Discord.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Alright, bet. Shit. Click on Discord. Alright, so... Break down the UCLA-Washington game. First, I did not know it was going to show the scores. That, okay. We gotta wait for this slow ass. Alright, there we go. Alright. So do you want to break it down on teams, or do you just want to compare them side by side? Like how it is right now?
Doesn't matter to me.
Alright. So, Washington got upset by UCLA.
I would say that, but
UCLA
is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, their quarterback has been... He tears up the Pac-12. But comparison-wise, Washington's QB... What's his name? Michael Penix Jr. I'm pretty sure he was in the Heisman voting. Like, as the leader.
I think so.
Because as you see so far through the season, he's first in passing yards, high first for touchdowns. He doesn't turn over the ball. He has a QBR of 79. So he doesn't turn over the ball. So UCLA's defense was able to stop him.
Yeah, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, he threw those interceptions, but what are you gonna do?
Sometimes you throw interceptions.
Hang on, doing real quick. That way I can see things. Oh shit. Okay. So we already talked about the passing game. So running game wise, Washington lost. Lost this battle, bro.
Yeah, easily.
When their leading rusher, I mean, they didn't run the ball a lot. They only ran it 23 times, which is not a lot compared to UCLA, who ran it 39.
39 times. They also passed it 33 times.
Yeah, and they threw it 49. I feel like Washington throws the ball a shit ton, bro. It's crazy.
They almost passed too much where people can guess what they're gonna do.
Well, part of it is scheme wise. So you know how in when Cliff Kingsbury was at, I think he was at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He runs an air raid offense, and that is basically a pass first offense. So obviously Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield are going to look, and Jalen Hurts at that matter, are going to look extremely better compared to other quarterbacks in college because they're throwing the ball so much. And that could be their scheme there. Receiving the ball wise, I mean, it was pretty balanced, I'd say.
I would.
Like, reception wise. Like, they had 33 receptions, Washington did, and UCLA had 24. But not one wide receiver really, like, caught that many more than the other. Like, for Washington, it was pretty balanced well out, I would say. When your leading receiver has 8 and your second one has 6, and then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, and so on. And then at UCLA, this fucking guy, Bobo, fucking... he it looks like he gets open. Because they targeted him 6 times, or he had 6 receptions, I should say. My bad. For 142 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the next leading receiver had 5 receptions for 44 yards. It's like, defensive wise, though, it's nothing really. I mean, it doesn't really. Like, they didn't get to the quarterback at all. There was 3 sacks, I think, between the teams. Yeah, 3 sacks combined. So each defense was not really impressive to me. That's why it was such a high scoring game.
Yeah, that would make sense.
You can't get to the quarterback and guys getting open. I mean, shit. Obviously, the 2 interceptions. Washington didn't have a punt return at all.
That's crazy.
So UCLA was either getting into field goal range, going for it, or they were scoring touchdowns. One of those 3.
I mean, they put up 40 points, so...
Yeah. And UCLA only had 1 punt return.
UCLA only kicked a field goal once.
And they were going for... Yeah, see? Each team only punted the ball once. So he he punted it out of bounds.
Or fair caught.
Yeah, one of the 2. Interesting. Well... Oh! I almost spilled my water.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. Alright. let's go back. Alright, so we broke down on the BYU Utah State. Now this looked like a close game going in. This was a tie game going into halftime.
Yeah, and then BYU just took it away.
Oh, definitely.
BYU only passed it 28 times.
That's insane. So, BYU also used two this game.
Yeah, 2 QBs. Yeah.
I mean, granted, throwing the ball once. Technically, still gotta play at QB. But Utah's quarterback didn't do very well.
Utah, 19 for 32, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Damn.
Yeah, that's not the best, especially compared to BYU's passing. 274 yards and 3 touchdowns.
No interceptions. Wow.
Yeah, that was a clean game by BYU. But Utah does have the running game though.
Utah State running game rushed it 48 times. Holy shit.
Yeah, hey, BYU only did it 32. So, granted, so they have the negative 15 from Hall, but that was probably on kneeing at the end of the game. So if you get rid of that, so that would I think he would be at 130.
Well, his average is minus 5 yards a carry. I don't know how that works.
Because he was kneeing, probably.
Oh. Okay.
So, because if you see, it says his longest was 0, so he didn't go nowhere. See, they didn't really. None of these teams broke out any big runs either. So like,
Utah State averaged their main running back only averaged 5.8 yards a carry. Longest run from him was 23.
Still though, college and NFL level wise, you kind of want to average like, if you want to be good, you want to average like 4 yards per carry, something like that.
Well, the BYU main running back did do a 34-yard run, but
that's kind of like a mid-level run.
Yeah.
So, going on to receiving, Utah State, that Cobbs, I don't know, he's got to be their number one if he has 10 receptions, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Not really familiar with Utah State or BYU, but to be honest, the way that Utah State's receiving is broken down, it kind of looks like they favor 1 or 2 targets, and that's Vaughn and Cobbs. Where like BYU is more kind of like spread out, or their receivers are just getting open, one of the two.
Yeah.
But the one dude, his only catch of the game was 14 yards for a touchdown. So if that doesn't show you that he was getting open and just was at the right place at the right time, I don't know what does. The defense probably played terrible. Fumbles. There was one fumble.
Well, there's 2 names there, but what?
So I think this guy recovered a fumble from Legis, who lost the fumble. And then Kaycee fumbled the ball while running because if you look, he was a running back. Katoa is a running back up here. He had 4 carries for 0 yards.
That's kind of bad.
So Alfrey, I mean, does he play defense? Yeah. So that's how it was. So Alfrey recovered the fumble from Legis, and Legis, yeah, that's how it worked. Okay, now that we know. Sack wise, two. So there is more sacks in this game. Okay, we're gonna pause right there. We're gonna chill out. But they got to the quarterback. It seems like more. So they got two QB hurries, and BYU got 3. So compared to the UCLA Washington game, there is more pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, barely any pressure. When you're getting 2 QB hurries through a football game, either your defensive, like this is a D1 school, so you're playing up against other D1 athletes, but when you only get and hurry the quarterback twice, that's not a good sign at any level. That quarterback is going to torch you because he has all day. BYU only had 1 more quarterback hurry, and it didn't look, I mean, the score shows it, that they weren't getting to the quarterback that much.
Yeah.
And with the 2 interceptions, 1 was returned for a touchdown. So, you got to take that into credit for BYU.
BYU only had 2 sacks. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was one kick return from Utah State. So they were probably all touchbacks.
Yeah.
Punts, 3 for Utah, 2 for BYU. 12 yards is, I mean, 1 was probably a fair catch and the other one was 12 yards, so I'll give them that. Punt returns are hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how easy Devin Hester, Josh Cribbs, even Tyreek Hill made it look. That is just hard. Going on to everybody's favorite, where people like to rip on, kicking. BYU's kicker, he made all of his extra points though. You know, he made them when it counted, when they scored. But when you're not able, when you get into field goal range and you have to trust your kicker in order to put points on the board and he doesn't capitalize, that's not a good look. At all.
No, it's not. Definitely not.
Especially when the kicker on the other team kicks a 50-yarder and makes it, where your longest was 45. I'm pretty sure that's the make, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they don't count missed attempts. But when, he goes out there and drills a 50-yarder as his longest, it's like, okay, guess you got to step up next time. Alright, well, let's break down another game. Flying through these breakdowns real quick. Just click on this. Because I want to break down all the games that are over first.
Alright, what game next?
Alright, so we did, you say BYU. Alright, we're on Kansas State and Texas Tech. Review this. Now, Kansas State, 25th in the country. Got that big W against Texas Tech.
Kansas State only threw the ball 19 times.
Alright, so you can see on my screen, Their quarterback was their leading rusher.
Yes. Okay. Huh.
But when your opponent, all right, has triple the number of yards that you threw for, and you still won the game barely throwing the football, that's impressive.
Yes, a quarterback has more rushing yards than he does passing yards. I don't even think we see that from Lamar Jackson.
Not really. It's very rare. They look like they're a run-heavy offense. Their quarterback and running back both ran for a 69-yard rush.
Beesh. That's
Texas Tech's defense could not stop Martinez. He had 3
and
touchdowns with his legs and 1 with his arm.
that's 4 touchdowns.
He was responsible for all of their points. Literally. Let me find out he's the kicker too. But when, bro, like Texas Tech's running game was like non-existent. They only ran it 34 times compared to the 48. And I'm pretty sure Texas Tech is a air raid offense, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they threw 48 times, so you could say that.
Yeah, I would assume they're kind of like air raid. So receiving, as we all know, Kansas State didn't throw the fucking ball for shit. So these numbers aren't going to look good. So we're not going to talk about Kansas State. We're going to talk about Texas Tech. When they threw the ball, they threw the ball like fucking hell. They threw it 34 fucking times. Obviously. You almost have 200-yard receivers, and the one guy only had 3 catches. 3!
Mm.
That's not a... He's getting open deep downfield, or he's going short and he's making plays with his legs. One of the two. And I'm telling you, because it's Texas Tech, people aren't going to really be paying attention to none of these wide receivers here. Kind of like how Texas Tech quarterback, coming into the NFL, goes and he's arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation right now out of Texas Tech. And because he went to Texas Tech, he was overlooked. So as you see, there was two fumbles by Texas Tech, 2 by Kansas State, but Kansas State recovered 2, and they lost. Well, obviously they lost 2. They fucking recovered. Stupid ass. But Texas Tech also recovered 1. So defensive, fumbling wise, they had the Butterfingers. This is the most fumbles we saw. Had them butters. Now I can already tell that this was Kansas State's defense got to the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Duke had 3 sacks. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that guy's name. He also had another 3. They had 6 sacks. Texas Tech had 3. QB Hurries had 5, and Kansas had 4. Both teams got to the quarterback, I would say, pretty evenly, except Kansas State was able to bring the quarterback down more. I feel like that might be because their quarterback is not mobile enough to escape the pocket. Who knows? I didn't watch this game.
I didn't watch this game either.
So Texas Tech obviously didn't have any interceptions. Both interceptions for Kansas State, they were either out of bounds or they had to catch it on a dive. Hey, not bad. You got 2 interceptions, put your team in a good spot, gave them some momentum. Can't ask for anything more. You see what I did there? His last name's Moore. Now, Texas Tech had 2 kick returns.
0 punt returns.
That is insane. Kansas State only had 9 yards. 1 punt returns. That's crazy. Kicking wise, Wolf from Texas Tech missed, but he made all of his extra points. But, I mean, a 67% is not that bad when you only kick 3 field goals, but you want it to be perfect. I don't know if his third attempt was a long one because he obviously kicked the ball 51 yards. So I don't know if they try to push him out of like his range a little bit or if there was some wind that could have knocked it off. So, don't know. Tennant over at Kansas State went perfect all around the board. Can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, you can't.
Reliable kicker right there. Punting wise, I'm not even going to pronounce Texas Tech's punter's name because I'm going to butcher that. Same thing with Kansas State. But they both punted the ball. I mean, they only punted, Texas Tech only punted 3 times. And he had a 60-yard punt, which is amazing, depending on where they were on the field. Kansas State, their longest punt was 47 yards. Not a bad punt, but not a good one either. And they punted 5 times.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, you would think the team that punts the ball less would win the game, but also you got to factor in the 2 interceptions that were thrown. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
But this wasn't a marquee matchup, It's Kansas State and Texas Tech. They aren't that good at schools, like football-wise. All right, we're on to the next week. As we're seeing some of these scores that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, probably. All right, what's next? I can't wait to talk about this one right here, Oklahoma TCU. All right, and that's going to be next for Purdue. All right, let's talk about this. The Minnesota Golden Goose. Steam Boilers? I think fucking know.
Golden Goose. Purdue passed it for...
Purdue.
That is not a good day for...
That was alright. I mean, this is not a good look at all passing-wise by either fucking team.
Yeah.
At all.
That is true.
Not a single touchdown thrown. 5 interceptions combined. You said what?
Minnesota main running back had the longest run was 9 yards. Holy shit.
That is awful. That was probably his touchdown run. For being honest.
Holy.
But hey, Purdue, they weren't able to they weren't able to complete passes to their team. They were able to run.
But the rushing was there. The rushing was definitely there.
McAlby. Deshaun Jackson's cousin had 100 yards. I mean, that's the only bright spot for Minnesota's offense. Fumbles, there is 1 fumble loss for... Well, 1 fumble for each... No. 1 fumble for each team, so 2 fumbles in total. So not that bad, not that bad. Defensive-wise, Purdue did not get to the quarterback at all. I mean, they didn't have to when the quarterback's throwing to their fucking team, But yeah, this is not a good like defensive line game. This is more of a
team type game. Like you would see in Madden all
yeah
the time.
yeah. It's like when me and you would play Madden
Yeah.
and we just throw picks to each other because we thought somebody was open.
Yeah.
I mean, there really isn't much more to talk about this game. I mean,
This game was trash. We can just leave it at that.
yeah, this game was not that. For a score standpoint, it was entertaining, but Purdue got off to a 10-0 lead in the first, and then they
And
scored
then almost
10
lost it.
in the fourth. So it's like.
What?
Now the game of the day. Oklahoma and TCU. Of the day so far. Yo, what's good, Bankroll? What's good, Zay?
Right.
It's choppy right now. Let me switch tabs. Bad. I mean, I'm doing this straight off my laptop, so it's probably going to be choppy. But this is going to be uploaded to YouTube, and then I'm going to make adjustments as I go.
Oklahoma did absolutely terrible.
Hey, there. Oklahoma's quarterback didn't do bad. Both quarterbacks did the same. They threw 7 for 16. But TCU's quarterback,
Oh, shit.
he went off. He went off.
It was like, yeah, we're going to put this team on upset alert once again.
Oh, yeah. Running game. TCU was even godlike on the run game. 3 people over 50 yards. That is insane.
That's unusual to see. And 2 of the running backs had 2 touchdowns. Wow.
They were not playing. Receiving Oklahoma, their leading rusher had 81. It's like, but TCU's receiving. I mean, it was TCU's was all spread out.
Yeah. Well, there was one receiver with over 100 yards, but nothing major.
Yeah. I mean, Oklahoma, their quarterbacks aren't getting them the ball, so it's like, what do you want them to do? Fumble. Nobody fumbled in this game. And there was obviously no interceptions.
For TCU.
Kick return, though.
There wasn't.
Oklahoma did dominate on the kick returns.
Oh, yeah. Kicking. That's crazy.
Kicking. TCU didn't kick a single field goal. But he missed an extra point, though.
Holy shit.
That's insane.
TCU only punted 5 times.
That's insane. Hey, interesting fact that I just found out today that I thought we should share since we're talking about the TCU team.
What?
The offensive coordinator for TCU is Lincoln Riley's brother.
Oh, jeez.
Head coach at USC. So, imagine how he has to feel beating his brother's team that he's no longer coaching. Like, that's insane.
Terrible.
For him. That's insane. That game's over. What are we into right now? Alright, we got Utah and State. Another blowout game.
I want to see this box score for Utah.
Walker. Sorry, MJ.
The fact the rusher only had a rush for over. The longest
Holy
run for him
shit!
was.
Look how many different
Holy
quarterbacks
shit.
Oregon State used. I'm sorry, but there is no need at any level to you need 4 fucking QBs, bro.
And two of them throwing 2 interceptions.
2 interceptions each. That is fucking terrible.
Oh, the Utah quarterback had a tremendous day. Holy.
Yeah, but I mean, the yards weren't there, but it was probably like quick throws in the red zone because, as you see, the running game was kind of on one. Not really, but yeah.
Yeah, the longest catch of this game for Utah was 20 yards.
Yeah, the longest catch for Oregon State was 63 though. No
One
fumbles.
dude did it all on defense for Utah. Holy
Yeah, 3
shit.
interceptions and a touchdown. That man's winning fucking Pac-12 Player of the Week.
As expected, looking at the score, they only scored touchdowns this game, so there was no field goals.
Yep, no field goals, 6 extra points made.
Hey, look at the punting. Look at the punting.
What name?
Look at the punting. You'll see who punted. That's funny as shit.
Rising?
Yeah, the QB punted.
Wait, I know. Wait,
QB.
which QB in
Yeah,
Utah?
Utah. Yeah. The
Yeah,
Utah
either.
QB punted the football for 35 yards. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was probably like a 4th and long. I mean, it was 35 yards. It was probably like they were leading at this point by so much. They were like, yeah, fuck it, we're just gonna have the QB go out there and punt, kind of like what the Steelers did with Ben Roethlisberger. The one.
Yeah. Then Tom Brady also kicked in ball once.
Yes, he did. Nothing. I mean.
No, let's do that again.
All right. Let's see what's next.
Game?
Ole Miss, Kentucky. Kentucky got upset here.
I mean, I really wouldn't call it an upset because Ole Miss is a good team.
Kentucky was ranked 7th. Got you, Tab, man.
And both these Ole Miss QB didn't really do nothing. They relied on the run game.
Jackson Dart, I mean, he did. Look, I watched Jackson Dart last year when he was at USC. This is when USC did terrible. He was a good bright spot, but he knew he was on his he knew he was on his way out. Fuck Ole Miss. They're undefeated, Zay. They're 5-0. But Will Levis, who is supposedly a top QB in this year's draft,
220 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he had a good day.
Yeah.
Ole Miss really did rely on the
Well, that's because Judkins fucking ran the ball. So did Dart. I mean, it was kind of like it was spread out, like both. Besides the running game for Kentucky, passing the ball, both teams, it was very well spread out.
Yep, the defense stood out for Ole Miss. Got 3 sacks.
Yeah, that's probably
QB hurting.
That's probably what got them over, like the win, the sack, because it could have been 3rd down, and you sack the QB, that changes the whole momentum. You got to punt, and then go from there.
Again, there was no punt returns for Ole Miss. Another team with no punt returns.
Yeah, because he punted them out of bounds or inside the 20, which you're not going to return. Kentucky only punted twice.
Wow.
So it was probably a lot of going for it.
Ole Miss punted 4 times.
Still won. That's insane. All right, let's. I think there's one more finished game to go over, and then we'll break down the top.
Actually, yeah. Yep, there's only one.
Yeah.
Michigan versus Iowa. I did watch some of this, but for the most part, Iowa didn't do. Running game, the longest run was 12 yards. Holy.
Oh man.
But these games didn't have, both these teams didn't have long carries, so or long passes for real.
JJ McCarthy he did a starting job, I believe, last week or something.
Sorry.
But like you said, Iowa, they didn't really have anything, running the ball wise. Michigan's running back, he carried for 133 yards. Receiving wise, Michigan doesn't throw that much.
I mean, they threw 24 times, completed 18 of them.
I mean, when your leading receiver has 45 yards, I mean.
Their defense did amazing. Michigan's defense.
Oh yeah, 4 sacks, 5 QB hurries. That's gonna
6
force
6 tackles for loss. Yeah. That's insane.
Iowa's defense is pretty much non-existent.
Iowa's defense sucks, and they have to play Ohio State in a couple weeks. That's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about that with you. Punt returns basically non-existent. Kicking.
Iowa's QB rushed for negative 31 yards. Holy shit!
They punted the ball 5 times for 241 yards.
241 yards is like a QB stat line for a punt.
I mean,
I think that's
pretty much.
That's almost more yards than the freaking QB had.
I think. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm about to say, I feel like that's more. Let's look at the live games for MJ.
Maybe. What game do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's talk about the top one, Alabama and Arkansas.
Bryce Young is out for this. I don't know if he's in it now, but he did go with something wrong with his shoulder, so.
Yeah, Saban. Look, I'm gonna tell you this about Alabama quarterbacks and getting hurt. So we saw Jalen Hurts come in. He gets hurt in what, the national championship?
I think it was.
Boom.
I don't know for sure, but I think so.
And then boom, here comes in Tua Tagovailoa. Boom, wins the starting job.
He also gets hurt.
Yeah. Boom, insert Bryce Young. He gets hurt. Miro might take over.
Now it's Miro's not doing that bad.
No.
But without Bryce Young, I don't see the Alabama offense doing very much.
I mean,
but I could be wrong.
Their running back Josh Gibbs, 14 carries for 59 yards. He's being shut down, per se.
So far, Arkansas's defense is not really that bad.
Receiving yards, they can't guard Prentice, Bonds. They can't guard those two.
How the frick do you get an interception for negative 3 yards? What the
You run backwards.
Oh, I didn't know that counted. Okay.
Hey, bro. Although, but this game's still going on. I could listen to it live, but we're not gonna do that because why would I do that? It's Alabama versus Arkansas. That's not a good game to listen to.
Alabama's defense is very well.
Yeah,
because they do that after the game.
Arkansas
like
is
when I was watching this game,
Arkansas is getting
he
ready
got
to score
sacked.
though.
Arkansas.
They're at Alabama's 30.
Well, I think they're starting to step up after halftime.
Yeah, so another game that really doesn't matter because the team that is playing is dog shit. Ohio State and Rutgers. Ohio State. Every week we play at home. Seems like. I mean, C.J. Stroud's thrown that interception, but it hasn't came back to bite Ohio State in the ass.
C.J. Stroud only missed 7 passes so far. That is pretty good.
That is impressive.
This rushing is carrying them right now. Holy shit.
Receiving,
15 carries, 91 yards, 3 touchdowns. Damn.
Hey, you gotta remember, Ohio State's missing their best wide receiver too.
That is true.
So, I'm gonna tell you, look for Marvin Harrison Jr. to step up.
I wanted him to. He's a key part in the offense. As of right now, he ain't doing shit.
Well, that's because he's been buried. But this is if Rutgers, because this is an 18-point game. This is a 3-possession game, 2 possession if you go for 2s and get them. No, still a 3-possession game. I'm stupid. 3-possession game. You're not out of it yet. You still have plenty of time. Rutgers could change it, turn it around.
They could. Well, they
find out on the next episode of Fumbles. Baylor, which Oklahoma State's about to score again.
I'll say that's kind of surprising. I expected more for Oklahoma State passing.
Yeah, I'm not. Oklahoma State, now look, you're probably gonna question me for this, but I feel like Oklahoma State hasn't had a good QB since Brandon Whedon.
I don't even know a QB that plays for Oklahoma State that plays for Oklahoma State that's in the NFL.
I don't feel like there's any. Hang on, let me.
I'll to say something stupid.
We're gonna look this up. By year. All right, Oklahoma State starting quarterbacks. Boom. This is a template. Okay, that's not what I wanted to see. I want to see the actual. All right, this is the starting quarterback since 2001. So we'll go. Can this get off my screen? Thank you. Oh my god. Yo. Alright, well, I'm not going to be able to look at that. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Give me a minute. Alright, so these are apparently the best QBs from Oklahoma State since 2000. J.W. Walsh was there from 2012 to 2015. I never heard of him outside of... Never heard of him until today. Clint Chelf was there from 2010 to 2013. Never heard of him. That guy doesn't count because he's not previous. That guy wasn't. He hasn't. He's not. Mason Rudolph.
Oh, I forgot about him.
So since 2000, look, I told you, Brandon Whedon is probably the best quarterback in our time. He, and you gotta remember because he was also like 30 years old when he was in college.
As Oklahoma scores some field goals.
And hey, if I'm not mistaken, Josh Gordon was his wide receiver for a year. If I'm not mistaken, he went to Baylor, but I think he played a year. No, never mind. Nope, never mind. He only no. Okay, never mind. He only played for Baylor, but he transferred to Utah, but did not play. All right. I don't know who I'm thinking of that went to Oklahoma State. I don't know, but I'll be right back, Mister. I'll be right back, Mister MJ.
Mm.
I'm back.
Hey. Okay. So
All right.
there's nothing to talk about on these live games because we don't have like defensive stats and stuff. But on
Wait. Oh, so Oklahoma State's quarterback is also their leading rusher right now.
that.
Um, Receiving. I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's spread out. Baldwin's carrying the load for Baylor. Baylor does have an interception. I mean, we don't have the defensive stats, so can't really look at those. Can't break that down. So on to the next game. Arkansas has the ball back. Oh my God! Arkansas upsets uproar.
You just made a lot.
All right, Northwestern
You'll probably be
State.
taken by you because you hate Alabama with a passion, but you know.
So we're on Northwestern and Penn State. Now this is a close game right now.
This game is closer than I thought it would be going into the fourth.
So I mean, both quarterbacks touchdowns very well. The ball. They've had Penn State has good running backs, but ever since the Bengals took, I think it was Achilles Smith or Kajana Carter, because I know both of them. I'm pretty sure went to Penn State. No Penn
And
State running
Saquon.
back.
You can't forget about it.
You said what?
And Saquon. You can't forget about that guy.
Yeah, but Saquon Barkley is actually like he hasn't been bad in the NFL.
No, this year he's doing better than I thought he would. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Oh, definitely.
I,
I mean, Penn State's offensive like receiving game is on point. Northwestern, I mean, it's. Eh. But hey, anything can happen. Northwestern could upset Penn State. Crazier things have happened.
yeah, crazier things have happened. As of right now, we might be looking at outside territory with Alabama, and I hope so.
Oh man. One, two, Wake Forest and Florida State. Where Florida State is currently losing to Wake Forest, who was in a close game with Clemson last week.
Yeah. I can't say I'm surprised.
About what?
This score, I can't say I'm surprised because I expected the way Wake Forest played Clemson last week. I expected them to win this game.
I did too. Because I mean, Ellison is carrying Wake Forest rushing wise. So we'll see what happens. And the receiving is pretty much balanced for both teams. Like the leading receivers have the same amount of yards, but it's like they stack up against each other so well offensively right now. Where I feel like because Florida State has the ball right now, I feel like we could be looking at another close game.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be a close game, but it's 4th and 31 for Florida State.
And two for Arkansas at Alabama's 25. All right. So Texas. Hey. Whoo! This is Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
It's up 14-0 against Texas A&M. Texas A&M hasn't had a good quarterback since Johnny Manziel. Let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest. Their receiving game and rushing game is really non-existent, but their rushing game is actually not that bad.
Yeah, I mean their running back is doing good, but what's all right? Mississippi State. Mississippi State is winning based on the fact that everybody is getting the ball.
Texas A&M is based on the fact that their quarterback doesn't have over 100 yards.
That is actually terrible. Nobody's thrown an interception. I mean, these games are like it's pretty much easy to go through because it's like there's really nothing. Like the games are still going on. It's easy to talk about.
Yeah.
Arkansas's at 14.
Let's go. I'm rooting for you guys.
I hope they lose. I really hope Bama loses, bro.
All right, so are we gonna talk about the future games, or are we gonna skip over?
So we're not gonna talk about Georgia, Missouri. What we're gonna do is we don't predict like who you think's gonna win. So Georgia, Missouri. Who do you got?
Blow.
Next game, you got NC State versus Clemson.
I think that game's gonna be an upset. I think NC State surprises people.
Yes, I don't know a lot about NC State. I really don't. But I feel like they have a chance. And that game just wait what? Okay, it just appeared. Okay, but yeah, I have a feeling that Clemson is gonna get upset. But
the way they played against Wake Forest,
yeah, it was sloppy. Georgia Tech versus Pitt. I'm going out here. And I'm rolling. I'm rolling with Pitt.
I'm gonna say Pitt too. I think Pitt is gonna dominate this one
Oh yeah.
against a 1-3 Georgia Tech guy. Yeah.
And then my favorite game right here, Arizona State versus USC. I'm going USC, man.
I think I'm gonna go USC too, and it's gonna be a blowout. I think they want to bounce back from last week disappointing little win against uh, Oregon State.
Look, Oregon State is a tough place to go play at though because it's all foggy there. Like it wasn't foggy there this time, but it's a hard play. Um, but
I still think USC does bounce back.
oh, definitely. Arizona State they've had way too much going on with inside the coaching staff itself. Herm Edwards got fired. The other he got fired because because I appreciate that, Mr. Z.
If Alabama loses and Clemson loses, I see USC going to number 4.
I can see that too. But Arizona State, they've had so much going on within the coaching staff. So Herm Edward got fired, and he got fired because the coaching staff was basically the coaching staff within itself gave up on him. I believe in their own head coach. So if you don't tell me that's not a recipe for disaster, I don't know what is.
That's definitely a recipe for disaster.
Then you got Oregon versus Stanford.
I
Very
think
late
Oregon
game.
wins in dominating fashion.
I believe Oregon will win.
Yeah, Oregon.
You got like the 18th year fucking quarterback and Bo Nix.
So,
I mean, he has experience though, so it's like. But
we
I
do have
believe
trouble against Stanford usually. I don't
Stanford's
know.
usually a very good team.
I
So
don't think they got a good team this year. So
yeah, I mean their quarterbacks have been fairly for a while. They had Andrew.
hold on.
They have good quarterbacks. I just can't give them off the top of my head. USC usually has good quarterbacks too. They just don't transcend well to the
I'll be right
NFL.
back.
But you come back.
I'll be right back.
All right, bet. Mm-hmm. All right. Why does it college football? Okay. I gotta switch full scoreboard. All right. I'm gonna wait for MJ to come back, and then I'm going to talk about this. We are going to talk about this because for any of you know what happened in Thursday night's game. Since we're here, might as well talk about it because this is a sports breakdown. Most starts that'll be getting talked about. Um, Basketball we talked about when regular season baseball starts up again in the spring. We're going to talk about that. So MJ is probably going to be my co-host through most of this. I might get some guest appearances on here through the NFL season. All that. We'll see how everything plays out. We'll see how this does. So I'll wait. I'm gonna wait for Mr. MJ to talk about this. I mean, if he takes too long, I'm just gonna jump into it. But also, if you play fantasy sports, make sure you go change your lineup right now, or you gotta get up early and change it in the morning, because I'm pretty sure the Saints. Is it Jacksonville? Saints and Jacksonville playing? Hang on. Saints and Vikings are playing tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. That's an early morning game, so make sure you get up early, set your lineups for that game if you have players playing in that game, as the international games are starting to take over. So if you play fantasy football and you have anybody on those two teams like Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, any of those guys, make sure you go, make sure they're starting, or if they're hurt, because there is a lot of injuries for the Saints right now, and the Vikings even, make sure you go and change your lineups.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. MJ.
Hello.
You ready to talk about the most talked about game of the year so far? And Bengals and Dolphins? Go ahead and click on the box score.
Did you do box?
Alright. As we know, Teddy Bridgewater came in and finished the game. Came in, he threw a touchdown pass, and he also threw an interception. I'm not going to discredit him. Pretty much every year. So to come in and do what he did was honestly pretty good. He didn't get sacked at all. Tua Tagovailoa, we know what happened to him. You hate to see it.
We hate to see it. I'm not gonna get in depth about it because I already said what I said on Twitter.
Yes. Everybody said what they wanted to say about this on Twitter. You know that the Dolphins physician just got fired today?
That's good, but still not gonna do anything. That you could have got your freaking quarterback paralyzed for. I don't know.
Could have been looking at a Ryan Shazier situation.
Yeah.
But Bengals come out on top. Joe Burrow, honestly, he had more time to throw the ball this game, which is something that he didn't have.
And he only got sacked one time, so.
Yeah, he didn't have the time the first couple weeks. Rushing wise, Raheem Mostert, who I thought was the backup back here in Miami. I guess he's a lead back over Chase Edmonds. He didn't do that bad. If he stays healthy, he'd be a good running back. We obviously know Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah, Joe Mixon.
He had a down game. I mean, his longest run was 7 yards, but
I feel like not like it's not gonna be like college where you're gonna get all these long runs everywhere.
No, you're not. But that's not like a Joe Mixon type. Joe Mixon, he gets like a couple like 10, 15-yard rushes every game. So, like Raheem Mostert got a 25.
Did have a good game.
So, I mean.
D. Higgins did have a good game.
Yes, I have all three of the Cincinnati Bengals 3 wide receivers in fantasy.
I have Joe Mixon. Yay.
So, Tyreek Hill, he did Tyreek Hill things. 10 receptions, 60 yards, which is 16 yards per catch.
Wish he got a touchdown, but those are his numbers right there.
Sheffield, who I have no clue who he is, 4 receptions, 55 yards. Jalen Waddle had a down game. Mike Gesicki never really gets the love that he deserves, but he's a great tight end. And then the rest of the crew right there: Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Carracraft. Now,
Miami didn't fumble. That's actually surprising to me.
Who?
Miami didn't fumble, so neither did Cincinnati. So.
Then on the Cincinnati side, you had T. Higgins leading the way with 124 yards, Jamar Chase with 81, and Tyler Boyd with 47.
It's crazy to me that the only sack that Cincinnati got was that vicious one.
Hey, man, you hate to see it. Happens.
I think they need to change the rules to roughing the passer a little bit.
I mean,
you can't have the ball in your hand to do that. So
the rule is kind of the roughing the passer and like hitting the quarterback. They try and protect the quarterback as much as possible, but like I don't know, it's kind of hard.
But it's not even the NFL's fault that he was out there. This is Miami Dolphins' fault. He was out there.
Hang on, let me check on the Alabama game real quick because Sua Cravens just tweeted Alabama's in trouble. So let me go.
Oh.
Go look at that.
Shit.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah. I'm watching that game after we get done here. I'm watching this game.
Yeah, we're probably gonna be done soon because we're gonna break it. We're gonna do predictions and then we're gonna wrap it up. Hayden Hurst, who's come in to be the tight end to replace CJ. Bless you, CJ. Bless you, CJ. Again, CJ Uzman. He's not doing that bad. Defense, both teams' defenses weren't looking that good. Like, offensive line.
And Arkansas has the ball. Oh, shit. Let's get on topic, though.
Von Bell had himself a game, 2 interceptions. Who the fuck is T. Taylor? Whatever. McPherson went perfect. Alright. Yeah, we're going to jump into predictions here. And we'll wrap it up. Alright.
We're getting first.
Making Now look, Justin Jefferson is having a terrible fucking year. If he gets
right now, but he can easily.
Yeah, but the Vikings are still winning, so I believe the Vikings will win. Falcons, who you got?
I think.
Well, yeah,
Falcons the Browns don't have Myles Garrett or Jadeveon Clowney in this game.
They also are missing their linebacker, Anthony Walker. So
I think the Falcons.
I believe the Falcons will win.
If Patterson plays, he's gonna walk right over the defense because the rushing defense for the Browns is terrible without the 2 or 3.
I mean, Cordero Patterson can also line up and torch you at wide receiver. So.
Yeah, so Patterson would be a good person to have this week for fantasy.
Oh, definitely. Commanders or Cowboys?
Oh God, I believe Commanders defense sucks. But go with Cooper Rush and say the Cowboys.
Now look, I'm going Cowboys, but part of me wants to go Commanders because no quarterback has won their first 4 starts for the Cowboys. Cooper Rush has won his first 3. This is his 4th start. I'm going to go Cowboys, though, because Zeke did have a good week. Tony Pollard this thing, and they still get the receivers. And CD Lamb, Michael Gallup. Seahawks, Lions. I'm going Seahawks because the Lions are too banged up. They don't have DJ Chark, they don't have Amon-Ra, and they don't have Deontay Swift.
I'm going Seahawks.
Titans and Colts.
Going. That's the weirdest record I've ever seen. All right, I'm going the Colts. I think the Colts pulled off after beating the Chiefs.
I'm going with. I'm going the Colts because I believe. I believe the Titans are going to struggle really, really bad. Just because Ryan Tannehill is having a bad year. Outside of Robert Woods, they don't have any receiving threats that are proven. So I'm going to say Colts. Bears and Giants. I'm going to go Giants. I'll go Giants. I guess we'll wrap it up here. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Probably talk to you tomorrow, MJ.
Wow. All right.